when we thought about this piece a year ago, we was originally thought of as a collaboration with the Mexico City Ballet, which is the contemporary spin-off company from whatever it's called,
the classical
ballet company. Things have changed from that, but
the project
is the same.
Yeah, the project was conceived, Bridges Not Walls, because we were taking dance to Mexico, and this, as you say, the noise was there of this.
Yeah,
This
and
Building the wall was already
it was in discussion. It was a year ago, but the whole project was called Bridges Not Walls, and it was about like how the language of dance was the common language, and the language of dance would bridge those barriers. And then things became a little bit more concrete, in terms of where we're going and how. But it's not just about Mexico. I mean, the global climate is so much about who we are and how we're trying to prevent this us versus them in Europe, in the Middle East, now in the United States. It's everywhere.
And so what we always we always strive to do, we really try to do this, and this is what we want to create, is possibly pieces of dance that are withstanding the time.
So even if they have a context, right?
Yeah, so even if there is a specific impetus that kind of drives it at the beginning, we're hoping to create something that stays even when hopefully this problem is not going to exist anymore. So we were in the process of understanding what are the bridges and what are the walls, and so we thought about the bridges. The walls are the walls that we create around ourselves, often by saying, this is who I am. And as a statement, as a broad statement, I am white, I am gay, I am Republican.
And this
I
is
am
a natural
Democrat.
thing of human to try to identify who we are and try to define yourself. And I think we're trying also not to demonize that.
No.
We're trying to say that that is a natural human need to be able to identify yourself and to know what is different. And it's a natural human instinct to be afraid of what is different.
And so then we thought how we create the bridges by changing your declaration, saying I am hurt, I am hungry, I'm in pain.
It's the transitive as opposed to the permanent.
So when we get out of what is the shield that is outside of us, and we look inside of us, then we're all, in our differences, we're all the same. And so this is kind of is the build-up where this piece is going to go, how the climax will be arriving to that point. So it is in, I don't know how many sections, a bunch of sections.
At least 10.
Yeah, or something like that. The piece has a men's section that is meant to be a women's section that is meant, we call it the women of war, so the women that are kind of in this suffering and this painful situation because they are
Understanding.
of being the result of the war, then the men are creating around us. Then there's the men of war, which is beautiful and powerful and strong,
And
tribal, and then eventually there's a twist and a turn at the end.
Don't tell them.
Then there is a woman solo that is sort of a refugee solo of a woman that is sort of swimming in water and kind of navigating.
And that's really the first time that we bring in physically the allegory of the wall, and we see the wall, and the wall in what we call the refugee solo. It's the tunnels, it's the wall, it's the desert, it's the ocean. The wall represents all of the things that she as a refugee is trying to overcome, or that is closing in on her and blocking her from getting from one place to the next place. So.
Then after that, there's one important thing. All this is going to be in collaboration with Francisco Moraga, which is a videographer, and Sarah Rose Darden. We're doing that together. And so we will have, our background is going to be all video. And so the video, it will be used not necessarily to create images that are contrasting or difficult to manage between the dance, but it will be like sort of sometimes just as a background, sometimes as informing what the piece of dance is about, some kind of giving hints and creating a context. So after the woman solo with the refugee solo, there will be a video section, so in about 2 minutes, that introduces the concept of interracial or not an ability of not coming together. So Romeo and Juliet. Idea,
Forbidden love, the love that could be, you know, if you love someone of the same sex, or if you love someone that is of a different religion or a different race than you, and
So
without showing the Montagues versus the Capulets, we're showing the journey of the two people when they have to decide if their love is strong enough, because if they choose to be together, it means abandoning what they had and moving forward. So again, it brings back the same concept that as we move forward, as we bridge between one another, sometimes we have to leave behind, like the women of war have to leave behind, just the same, people who decide if their love is strong enough to do that, they have to leave behind possibly family, identity, culture, whatever it is that the bridge that they're making out of their identity to share with somebody else.
After that, we'll have.
And his team spirit.
Oh yes. So after that, you saw the duet yesterday. That was the duet of Bridges Not Walls. After that, there is team spirit. So everybody is together. They are marching. They're military. They are, you know, there's a beauty to that. There's a beauty. Hannah explained it when you watch the Olympic Games in China, and then everybody is dancing together.
The taiko drummers at the opening of the Olympics. It was just incredible.
But then, if you look underneath, those people are probably suffering or have been going through, you know, some oppression, or, you know, the beauty of being all homogenized. There's a power to it, but then there is also the desire of being unique and different.
And that's not really allowed, unfortunately. But that's all. I mean, again, we're never trying to demonize anything, but we're trying to show that these are constant states that we're in as human beings.
Guys, keep it a little lower. Sorry, guys, we're doing an interview.
So that, but so we, you know, there's that excitement of being part of a group, and there's that excitement of doing things together. Like I always said, when the Amish, when they raise the house and they show that in a movie, and you feel so excited that they've done all this together, but then again,
the reality is slightly different, and so there is a, you know, this team spirit group all together. At the end of that, we haven't made them do it yet, and it's not going to happen today. They do the declaration, what they say. They keep separating. They keep, you know, and then they do declaration. This is who I am, and then one of them will say, "This is how I feel." We haven't determined that yet, and that will trigger the solo for Luke. That is inspired, and an actress friend of ours, Susie Taylor, she read and recorded this poem, which is an anthem for a Syrian refugee.
We found it under warscapes.com. It seems that this poem called Home by Syrian refugees is actually kind of an anthem for what has been going on in Europe. And so that again ties in with the fact that this is not just about America and Mexico. This is not just about, you know, Europe and what's going on with Syria.
It's universal.
It's universal. It's going on between human beings forever. And I mentioned to someone recently, I mean, we did have a competitive species called Neanderthal, and they're no longer here. And they just recently, I read an article in the New York Times of their last bastion before they were driven all the way off the planet by us. So this is and we referred a couple times to this quote that Barack Obama made the last time he spoke. He said, "We must guard against the tribalism that is us versus them." But tribalism is human, so it's very hard.
So, and then after that, it will be the finale. The finale, which is what you
Hope.
were seeing right now.
Hope, it's called Hope.
So it's human, it's celebratory, and it's hopefully.
And as you see, beautiful and uplifting, and you know, the waters of change and the waters of
the ripples
of humanity, as opposed to the walls that
the rigors of the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's still in process, so we're still working on it. We're still fine tuning it, and it's not finished. And there is transitions that still need to be
One other thing
organized.
that's important to mention is that we have original costume design from Renato Armijo. He's a fashion designer from Chernaya Bridal House, and his costumes. I mean, we wanted each dancer to have their own identity, and he created very, very beautiful
With a Middle
designs.
Eastern feel.
Yeah, a little Middle Eastern, a little Turkish, a little African, so some little ethnic touches. But there is a concept, I like what you said, there's a bondage that each dancer has in their costume. There's a sense of constriction and being bound.
Armor, almost an armor.
Yes, somewhere between the armor and the chains that keep us down as humans. And there will be a revealing moment for each dancer with their costumes that will try to tie us together again. So, I mean, we started this a long time ago, and the more we talk about it, the more epic it seems. And I'm hoping that we can deliver at least a piece of dance that makes people think. At least, a beautiful piece of dance. We have these incredible dancers, and we really want to make them shine and bring to light this heavy subject matter, but
And hopefully it all will be tied together, both choreographically, if we if we have good choreographic skills,
yes.
but also by video and the costumes. It's kind of it's a whole project, and with the magic of Bruce Brown, who was there texting.
Our technical director and lighting designer, who's here also to see what we have, because also he has a challenge himself, creating lighting with the background of
we're starting.
with the background of a video.
You're premiering this in Aventura.
Yes. And then the beautiful thing is we're taking it to Mexico, and so we will be, instead of the project has changed slightly along the way, but we are going to be incorporating dancers from the ballet Chetumal
It's a ballet, the Camera
Quintana Roo.
in Chetumal. So we have changed the project because the director of the company we were collaborating with, now they moved to Chetumal.
And took a job directing a full-time company.
And so we will be collaborating.
And we have built 5 additional costumes. So we will be adding, Marina, our intern, is not coming with us. So she will be replaced, and then 2 other men and 2 other women will be incorporated into group sections. We don't know if there's any other way in a short period to incorporate them in, but certainly they'll be performing with us.
And the idea is that this project will continue next year, when we will bring that company, if we get a grant.
They're going to come here then.
They're going to come here and they will create their version of their idea of Bridges Not Walls, and then we will incorporate our dancers in what they do, and then it will become a whole big happy thing, hopefully. Yes.
Yes.
All right.